G'day all and welcome back. We're going to run this video like an episode of Columbo, the old detective show, where you see the murder first, then watch a bloke with a cheap cigar slurring his way through the steps he got to solve the murder. So first up, we'll have a bit of video of the completed model, then we'll have a bit of history, then we'll go through some of the steps. Enjoy. Right, let's talk about the Grumman Martlet. Or as the Americans, those disobedient colonists will call it, the Wildcat. Same aircraft, different name, but apparently even in wartime, they couldn't agree on branding. So why on earth were the Royal Navy flying an American fighter in the first place? Short answer, desperation, pragmatism, and a healthy lack of ego when things got serious. Cast your mind back to 1940. Britain is having what you might politely call a rough time. France has fallen, the RAF is busy not losing the Battle of Britain, and the Royal Navy's Fleet Air Arm is looking for a fighter to bolster its lineup. Because currently, the fighter aircraft operated by the Fleet Air Arm could be better. The Fleet Air Arm was still flying aircraft like the Fairey Fulmar and the Sea Gladiator. Now the Fulmar wasn't terrible, unless you needed speed, agility, or to survive against modern fighters. It was designed as a long-range fleet defense fighter, which is a nice way of saying a compromise that made nobody entirely happy. Meanwhile, across the pond, the Americans had the Grumman F4F Wildcat. Tough, rugged, carrier-capable, and crucially, available. Enter the British Purchasing Commission, who essentially went shopping in the US with a very urgent credit card. Before America even officially joined the war, Britain was buying up aircraft under programs like Cash and Carry and later Lend-Lease. The Martlet was one of these purchases. The first Martlets actually arrived in 1940, originally intended for the French Navy. But after France surrendered, Britain said, "We'll take those, cheers." And suddenly the Royal Navy had a modern monoplane fighter that didn't look like it needed a propeller just to stay historically accurate. Now the name Martlet is as British as a cup of tea. It's a heraldic bird, basically a stylized swallow with no feet. Quite poetic, really. The Americans called it the Wildcat, which sounds like it's going to maul your face off. The British called it something that sounds like it belongs on a coat of arms. Same aircraft, very different vibe. So how did it perform in Royal Navy service? Surprisingly well, actually. The Martlet quickly proved itself as a solid carrier fighter. It wasn't the fastest thing in the sky, and it certainly wasn't as nimble as some of the other aircraft. But it had two very important qualities. It could take a beating, and it could dish one out, thanks to its 4 50 caliber machine guns. One of the Martlet's early claims to fame came in December 1940, when Martlet scored the Fleet Air Arm's first aerial victory of the war by shooting down a Junkers 88 over Scapa Flow. In the Med, Martlets operated from carriers like HMS Illustrious, providing fighter cover against Italian and German aircraft. During the Battle of the Atlantic, Martlets operated from escort carriers, knocking down German reconnaissance aircraft like the FW-200 Condor to stop them from zeroing in the wolf packs on the convoys. And just to keep it interesting, they also participated in the Arctic convoys, providing fighter cover against marauding German aircraft, keeping the Soviet Union in the war. Martlets were also involved in Operation Overlord. This build having invasion stripes is one of those birds. They may not have been decimating German armour like the Typhoons and Thunderbolts over Normandy. They were operating off escort carriers protecting the flanks of the invasion force from anyone who wanted them crack. The final role of the Wildcats was Operation Judgment. On the 5th of May 1945, 28 Wildcats from 846, 853 and 882 naval air squadrons, flying from escort carriers, took part in an attack on a U-boat depot near Harstad, Norway. 2 ships and 1 U-boat were sunk, with the loss of 1 Wildcat and 1 Fleet Air Arm Avenger. In terms of legacy, the Martlet doesn't always get the glory. It's often overshadowed by later, flashier aircraft like the Hellcat or the Corsair. But the Martlet was there when it mattered. Early in the war, when things were uncertain, resources were stretched, and Britain needed every capable aircraft it could get its hands on. It was a stopgap, yes, but it was a bloody good choice. Alright team, so now let's crack on with the build. In this video we'll cover from a little bit of the construction through till clear coat, decals on, ready to weather. Alright, let's go. And enjoy the epic music.